Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Comedic Pedro, Part 5. I think it's Part 5. Yes, Part 5. Now, if you notice, the cover of this video has a photograph of Woody Allen, who I would say is my favorite comedian. He was born in 1935, and he's 83 years old today in 2019. Woody Allen was born in Brooklyn, New York, and during his career, he's been a movie director, writer, actor, and comedian. And his movies include Annie Hall, which came out in 1977, Manhattan in '79, Hannah and Her Sisters, and then Stardust Memories, The Purple Rose of Cairo, Match Point, and others. You see, I'm wearing this New York T-shirt. Yeah, he's a New York fellow. Now, what I like about Woody Allen is the fact that he embodies the two great Jewish traditions. He's Jewish, and he's an intellectual and a comedian. So intellectual comedy, where there's some thinking involved, which is nice instead of. And I guess sometimes they don't want to do it because they want to just appeal to everybody and they want everyone to get their jokes. But I think his jokes, there's a lot of history. He's a mild-mannered fellow, easygoing. I find him very endearing. He tends to worry, and which is actually you could say a Jewish tradition based on their tragic history, the Holocaust and all not a lot more than that, the persecutions in Russia, the pogroms, and so forth. And I would say Annie Hall is my favorite movie. I haven't seen a lot of Woody Allen movies, but the little I have, Annie Hall. And, he's definitely, grew up in Brooklyn. That's pretty cool, So he was 20 years old in 1955 when the Brooklyn Dodgers won their only World Series. So I like Woody Allen. He's non-threatening. He's not a big fellow. He's not big. He's not physically intimidating. He tends to complain. Yeah. And there's this one movie where he's standing in line. Maybe it was Annie Hall. He and this gal, or Diane Keaton, the character Annie, they're waiting in line for a movie theater, and the guy in front of them is talking very authoritatively about some topic, and Woody's like, "Oh, this guy is, doesn't know anything," and he's complaining while the guy continues to talk. He's like, "Oh," it's really funny. And then later, since it's a movie, and they can do whatever they want, they bring the authority regarding this topic. To sort of confront this guy, which is sort of an impossibility. Maybe it's his imagination. And the guy says, "You have no idea what you're talking about." So, I like Woody Allen, funny guy. And a lot of self-deprecating humor, which is, I tend to do that, when you put yourself down. Anyway, so Woody Allen, he's, I don't know if he's 83, so he's been around. I'm not sure if he's retired, what he's doing, but and I definitely would be open to seeing more of his movies. Today, I thought I'd talk about, everyday life. This is comedic, supposed to be comedy. And so, everyday life has funny stuff that happens. I thought I'd talk today about going to the grocery store. And now the first thing is, I have my mother, God bless her, Ruth Smallshaw Ray. She had a lot of pads of paper that somehow she, accumulated. Maybe different charities sent them to her, and I have them, and I've been using them. And so during this time on a daily basis, if I think, I need to buy this, I'll write it down on the pad of paper, and then when it's time, I think, I'm going to go to the grocery store today. I'll see what I need and write down the things I need. Ask my son Tim or my wife Alice, what do they want, and write them down. And the thing is, sometimes I can be a blockhead, and I in wintertime. Now it's summertime. I tend to wear a shirt without a sleeve pocket, but in wintertime, let's say there's a nice pocket there. I like to have a nice pocket in my shirt, outside pocket. You can put a pen in, or in this case, this pad of the grocery list, and then some of these pads of paper of my mother. they're too big. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I would ended up. So for a while, I was just okay, just take it off the page that I was, the relevant one for that time, and I would fold it. Excuse me, and put it in my wallet. And then in the grocery store, the problem is, every time you get something, I like to put a nice line through the item that, I put it in the cart. And the thing is, you got to have a hard surface to write that line. And so all the time I'm in the grocery store, I'm looking for a hard surface. And then later, which is a little bit inconvenient. And so later I thought, Pete, why are you, you don't have to fit this in your pocket. You can carry it in your hand in the car, put it on in the passenger seat. And then, have your pen there as well. And just carry them in. So that was kind of a breakthrough for me. I'm a little bit slow, you could say. So anyway, in the grocery store, you go in, you get your cart, right? Yeah, sometimes these carts, sometimes they're stuck, you can't get them out, and or you get a cart with one of the wheels is funky, not really functioning well, maybe stuck, or or it's not really going the way it's supposed to go, like around and forward. And, anyway, it's not a big deal, really. You just deal with it. And sometimes there's might be some coupons in the bottom of the cart, so I take them out and put them at the side. I thought, and so I head off on my way, and where I go is Mark's Grocery Store. That's Mark's with a C. In Rocky River, Ohio. Center Ridge Road, Rocky River, Ohio, USA. I like it there. Yeah, it's a nice grocery store. In fact, I was going to do a video, a poetic tour, but I think it was might be too embarrassing. So I'm just going to we're going to do a grocery store poetic tour, but just film off the internet, because Anyway, so there, I start going my way, get the things I'm going to buy, and the first, I try to be orderly about it. The first. Now to back up, I forgot something very important, is parking, right? You go to the parking lot, and now I'm not a good driver, I'm not a good parker, so I like to park where there's, empty spaces on each side, which means, people tend to, and the closer you get to the store, the more packed the cars are packed. So I tend to park kind of far away, and my wife and son, sometimes they'll complain about it. And I remember my mother, the one thing I didn't like, they were good people, my parents. My dad would drive, she always wanted to park close to the door, to minimize walking. And sometimes you're driving around and around, actually wasting time looking for a close parking spot. But then, in my case, I'm kind of the opposite. Maybe I park too far away, and I come out of the grocery store and I think, why did I park so far away? So anyway, the grocery store, you go in, and this particular grocery store, I like, the people, I like it there. It's affordable, the price is right, and it's not. There's a number of grocery stores that are sort of, you could say high end. Like here in Rocky River, Heinen's and Whole Foods, these new sort of health food places, but they're expensive. Although, Heinen's is I'm kind of intimidated by it. It seems like they're, wealthier people. But at Mark's, it's regular people, and so I like it. And so I get my cart and go over, and sometimes I'll take a look at. Oh no, I really don't. They have a few paperback books, but. Anyway, so I head up the first long aisle, the potato chip aisle. When I first moved back to the U.S., I was really having a good time getting every different type of potato chip, different flavors, and so I still do that. I kind of like the regular Lay's potato chips, classic. They have different flavors. Sometimes the flavors are a little bit, maybe too much. So anyway, head down the potato chip aisle. And then take a left over heading toward produce. And then there's, I'm supposed to be a vegetarian, so, which means you need to eat. Nuts are a good protein source. And actually, I've had some health trouble, like, well, anybody does, especially I'm 59. And there's a nut area going toward produce that has some. I thought to myself, well, maybe I need to have some more variety in my diet. And so sometimes I get these things called pine nuts. They're different, and I think they're pretty good. And also they have sunflower seeds, which I think they call papitos. Sounds Mexican. Those are good. Anyway, so I head over toward produce, get my spinach, raw spinach. Yeah, I usually have a plate of raw spinach every day with my food, which I think is good. I remember as a boy, Popeye the Sailor Man the cartoon, Popeye'd have his canned spinach, and he'd get strong, and I thought, oh, wow, I was with my mother, and they had Popeye's canned spinach, which is cooked. And I said, Mom, I want that. And so she got it, but I didn't like it. When we were kids, we'd have like cooked spinach as a part of our meals from time to time. Didn't taste very good. I think the raw spinach is better. So anyway, go over there. I eat a lot of fruit. So if I'm buying fruit, especially like bananas, which are considered a miracle food, very healthy. So I get different fruits, apples and oranges, and I gotta make sure that they're not. Look at. Sometimes I remember I got some strawberries that were, or even oranges. Later I thought, what? You didn't look at this very well because there were some that were spoiled, and you just didn't look very well. Yeah, and I get grapes and cherries, and over there they have some fruit juices there, maybe carrot juice and this I think it's pomegranate juice, yeah. And so then heading over toward all the regular aisles, I started eating hummus, which I think is pretty healthy. Hummus, yeah. Maybe get some. There's a place where you can get some cheese or sliced turkey, yeah. And I remember I was taking care of my mother at the end of her life, and I was told her she wanted a roast duck. I didn't want to do it, but we ended up having a roast duck. Although it set off the fire alarm because it was, I think it started burning. The skin was burning. Anyway, started heading in the grocery store, going up and down the aisles. Then there's like the bread aisle. I'm trying not to eat too much bread because it's, I don't think it's. I've heard people say, you get, especially as you get older. I think Americans eat too much bread, and as you get older, maybe your body's fed up with all the bread you've been eating. and they have some crackers there in that area. They're pretty good. I get these crackers. They're like, they're whole wheat with some cheese. I can't remember the name, but and then they have I might get peanut butter if I'm out. And then you come up there's a chocolate area. Yeah, it's funny. I was trying not to eat chocolate or sweets, but although I do. And one time I saw a guy in front of me get some I wasn't going to get chocolate, but I saw a guy get some chocolate, so I did as well, just imitating him. And then near the end of that aisle, they have the nuts. I like to have almonds, especially. They're very tasty. And they got this, or cashews, peanuts. Peanuts don't seem that great anymore. I used to remember my brother Mark liked Planters dry roasted peanuts. And then there's quite a few aisles, and I used to think, I think the next aisle is cereal, which is a fun aisle, and all these colorful, nostalgic. I consider, most breakfast cereal more of a dessert item. And I might get, I think Lucky Charms, they're pretty good, especially the marshmallows and Frosted Flakes, which are, again, this is a dessert item. They're sweet. Tony the Tiger. And they have, they'll bring out some of these old items from the 60s, Count Chocula and Frankenberry. Actually, there's a lot of Cheerios, which I don't think are very good. And man, the Cheerio salesman is really, I wonder if he's really doing a good job here, getting them to carry all these Cheerios. And I like Chex, different rice Chex. And they have granola, which is more healthy. And so going up and down the aisles, I used to think, you got to go up and down. You got to be orderly. Go up and down every aisle. But sometimes I think, it's a waste of time. I'm not even getting it. I have a pretty good idea. A lot of the aisles I don't go down because what's the point? and like the canned goods, and I might get canned tuna from time to time. So then heading down toward the eggs. You gotta check the eggs and make sure that they're not broken. Open it up. And then the area where there's milk and stuff, dairy maybe. Yeah, I get milk and some more juice, orange juice, and cheese, different maybe some American cheese or Swiss cheese and butter. Actually, I really love butter. I get this butter and regular butter in sticks. And I was eating cottage cheese for I don't know. I didn't like that because I remember as a kid we used to have cottage cheese. My father liked cottage cheese. I thought it's not that great. For a while we were having almond milk. My son Tim said, "Oh, Dad, I think it's healthier," but we decided to get regular milk next time. And then there's the frozen food section. They used to say I don't know in movies that the frozen food section was a place where singles would sort of flirt, or you'd look for you'd be interested in like having socializing with the opposite gender. Excuse me, these muscle knots in my neck. Anyway, so the frozen, but actually I haven't seen that at Mark's. It's sort of somebody, maybe some grocery store. I haven't really seen any flirting going on in the frozen food section. And then, you have your Stouffer's frozen food. Reminds me of Vernon. Well, Vernon Stouffer, the founder here from Cleveland, who owned the Cleveland Indians baseball team. I remember when I came back from the Philippines in the movie Fred Claus. He's Christmas dinner, and he's having, and then and his mom says, "Oh, Fred, why can't you be more like your brother with Santa Claus?" And he's mad, so he says, it's Christmas dinner, but he says, "No, I'm just going to go back to my room and have a Hot Pocket." Wonder if Hot Pockets paid for that. So I was getting Hot Pockets there. They have ice cream and different things. Different pizza and different frozen items. And then, and of course, and then maybe, the next aisle I think is where they have, I think it's the next aisle or the one after, they have the, I use a lot of index cards. See, here's an index card. Index card is this, it's this heavy paper with lines. In my research for videos, I use a lot of them, and last time they didn't have any. It was a minor crisis. Well, they had some, but there were no lines. Who would make an index card without lines? But anyway, they did. And then I might get toothpaste if I need it, and mouthwash. And then there's, beyond at the far end, cleaning supplies. Now, the other thing is when you're going to the grocery store, there's other people there, and sometimes they're blocking the aisle. So I try to be patient, and I don't want to say anything. I'm not, but I might if I might turn around if they don't notice or whatever. Just go the other way. Turn around. Yeah. So and it's interesting seeing people. This one time I was coming out of an aisle, and there was a guy working there. I think he's working in the maybe meats, chicken, uncooked chicken. And we almost had a collision. And then he stopped, and he didn't say anything, but he must have been having a bad day, And I kind of wait. He waited for me. He didn't say a word, and so I thought, okay, I kept going. So you see people. You see a lot of older people, and they're kind of struggling along. They're on their own and doing their best. And then, of course, you get to the checkout area, and now one of the I like. Excuse me. I like what when you go to a place they have these name tags, and I like to greet people by name. It's nice. Although and sometimes their name tags are turned around and you can't see their name, and I might say something, and sometimes I think they don't like being identified by name. But it's nice if you say hi Joe, or whatever their name might be. And there's this one gal there. She's pretty talkative. My friend Brent saying he avoids her checkout because she'll talks a lot. And what's funny is she's talking on and scanning your food, and then you pay their bill, and then you're leaving, and she's continuing to talk and like carrying over the conversation with the next person. No break. Yeah, and anyway, so yeah, and that's So you're at the checkout there, and I bring a debit card, and with the my wife Alice, she taught me something. Remember we used to go together in the Philippines, and she said, you put in the heavy stuff first, and I always remember that, so they don't crush the light things. So you put in like milk or heavy things, juice, and and you got your and they have these as they're some of the cashiers, they'll do all the bagging, but I like to help, so I'll go over and have little plastic bags, and you're getting stuff and put it in the bags and try to pack a certain number and put it in the cart, and then of course you pay they tell you the amount, you put your debit card in. I try to remember my password. I think I remember it's a year from Cleveland sports history, although and I think I ought to write it down on a little piece of paper in my wallet in case I forget. I think I'll remember that. So, you pay and say goodbye, thank the person, they give you the receipt, head out to the car, put the grocery, you head out to the car with your grocery. And on the way out, they have these little things where you can put in a quarter for like candy or different things. And I used to do that, or I'll actually look at that, because this one thing, they had different sports items. Like I know they had like little plastic Duke basketball and NFL or MLB or NBA items in this machine. I think it's 50 cents. The old days, back in the 70s, they had one that had NFL mini helmets. I thought it was cool. But lately I haven't done that for a while, because I don't see any. Doesn't seem to be anything good. Maybe it's too childish. I don't see anything like professional sports, which is the thing I like. So you head out to the car, put the groceries in the car, and take your cart. They have a nice place where you take your cart. You don't have to take the cart all the way back. You take a cart, and sometimes the people aren't very orderly. You're putting your cart. Usually there's room for two, rows of carts in the area, and so sometimes it's like just in the middle. So people they're not. Sometimes they don't do it. So I try to whatever I can. I'm trying to make it a little bit orderly to push them in so there's room for more carts. And then come home, and I'm struggling. I bring the groceries here. We're on the second floor, and I bring the groceries over to the take several trips. I don't like them when they have these. I like the plastic bags. I mean, I don't like the paper bag unless the paper bags have handles. You need a handle. So anyway, bring the groceries over, open the door, and I'd bring them in downstairs. Just put them inside downstairs, and go back for more. And I'll put a little stick in the door, so I don't have to use my key again to come in. And then if I'm alone, and our son Tim, he's a strong young man, and I'll call him, "Hey Tim," when I'm coming back toward the door, and hopefully he hears and he can come help me carry the groceries upstairs. And I bring them upstairs. Sometimes I struggle because my knee, I'm having knee trouble, and bring them upstairs and put them in, and then put them away. Yeah, put them away. I like to put things away properly, and and you take stuff, put it on the car here, on the counter over here, put them on, and put things where they belong. Yeah, and and the frozen food things, the milk, and the refrigerator. I put things. The milk and the juice in the back, and depending. And then whatever things, the non-refrigerated items in the cupboard, and then put all the plastic bags away, and that's the end of the groceries for a day. You put everything away, and so anyway, I think this has been gone on long enough, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.